while back, Emily or Emerichu posted this video, The Worst Thing That Happened on Tour, where she basically talks about a time during her Scribble Showdown tour where she forgot to put on shorts over her somewhat see-through tights and ended up unknowingly flashing her badonkadonks throughout that entire morning to the people around her. And while I was watching this, I was just thinking like, holy shit, Emily, that's freaking embarrassing. But I was also cringing at the thought of the possibility of her not noticing all the way up until she got on stage. Like, that would be horrifying. Imagine flashing your panties on stage in front of an entire audience. I can't imagine how humiliating that would be, since, you know, I've never done anything like that. Wait a minute. So back in college, I lived with 3 other roommates, one of them being a fashion and design major. For this story, we'll call her Barry. During this semester, Barry's department required all their fashion and design students to design an outfit and have a model wear their design and walk down a runway in front of a pretty sizable audience in the school's fashion show. And one day, while all my roommates and I were in the living room, Barry started telling us about how the model for her runway project canceled on her last minute and how she needed to find a replacement as soon as possible. After saying that, she then looked at me and decided that I would be the perfect replacement for the model. I started refusing her and kept telling her I didn't want to do it because I didn't think I'd be able to pull it off. But then I thought about how this was a huge part of her grade, and if I were ever in a pinch last minute for something that important, I'd hope someone were there for me too, you know? Because I'm a good friend. And totally didn't just give in because she was bribing me or anything. So Barry took my measurements, and that was honestly the last time I ever heard anything about her fashion show, until a few weeks later when it was the night before the actual fashion show. Up until this point, I was low-key concerned because I hadn't even seen or heard anything about the dress I was supposed to be wearing, and this is around the time you'd think someone in her shoes would be frantically scrambling around, trying to make sure everything fit perfectly, but no! Barry was on the couch, playing this BTS mobile game at 4 in the morning. Like, really? A BTS mobile game? What she should have been playing is
Raid Shadow Legends,
who happens to be the sponsor of this video. Raid Shadow Legends is a free-to-play and visually stunning fantasy mobile RPG where you can explore millions of champion combinations as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. You can build your team with badass champions, like this super OP legendary high elf champion Ethos. Like Ethos? More like watches enemies Ethos nuts! Then there's this champion Satora Rhymehide, a majestic legendary high elf chimera who's not only super powerful, but also super cute! Look at him!
Right.
There's a ton happening in Raid this month, like the new event for the summer solstice called the Path of Light, where you'll be able to explore 3 branching paths to get these different rewards. On top of that, there's some awesome new champions coming out and a set of badass looking skins for the amazing Trunda Guilt Mallet. Raid is also currently running their Deliana Chase event, where you can get your hands on the brand new legendary champion Deliana. Just log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 20th, and you'll get your hands on one of the strongest support champions in the entire game for free. Just click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen to get unique bonuses worth $30. We're talking a free epic champion rector draft and all these other free rewards. And if you're a new player, enter promo code MyDeliana once you're in game to get your hands on even more free items. And all of this free treasure will be waiting for you here. It's that easy. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in game. Anyways, back to the story. Turns out Barry ended up giving up making the original dress for her assignment and just took out an old dress that she made a few months ago. She said that it wouldn't need much adjustments anyways, so she would just tailor it to my body the morning before the show. So I just shrugged it off, cause I mean, she seemed chill about it, so there was nothing for me to worry about, right? Tailoring this dress last minute, right before the fashion show should be fine, right? Surely nothing could go wrong. The morning of the fashion show rolls around, I show up to the dressing room with all these tall, gorgeous models, and at this point, we only have a couple of hours before the show starts, so we were in frantic mode trying to get this dress to stay on my body. Why we didn't just do this last night? Good question. I don't know. There were other priorities, you know, more important priorities.
In a world where you feel cold.
So a bunch of time passes and Barry was still struggling to make adjustments to the dress so that I wouldn't trip over, since I already don't know how to walk like a normal person. And the dress was pretty hard to move in without my panties peeking through the slit or my bobbies falling out. We got to a point where one of her classmates and even her professor were scrambling to get this dress to fit me securely. But we ran out of time and was left with this dress being held together for dear life with a bajillion safety pins and some loose tied up threads. This dress was not secure, but stage crew was rushing us and telling us that we had no time left and that we needed to be on standby ASAP. So we rushed backstage, making it just in time to where the other models were lined up. At this point, I felt like I could now relax, because now all I really had to do was just embarrass myself for 45 seconds. And yeah, we weren't able to get the dress to really fit properly, and I ended up looking like some fragile art project ready to fall apart at any moment, and people were definitely going to see my panties when I have to turn around on stage. But it's whatever. They're just panties. And then I remembered what panties I was wearing. So I'm about to expose another embarrassing fact about myself that's probably gonna ruin everyone's image of me being a completely perfect divine being with no flaws, who can do no wrong, and lives the most perfect stylish life. Truth is, I wear raggedy panties.
What do you mean, honey? I remember you had...
Those are a lie. I just bought those after dating you to make it seem like I'm actually stylish, but I'm not. I wear raggedy panties. Okay, so normally I just wear those cheap floral panties from the Philippines my grandma would bring as pasalubong. And I know, you're thinking, oh no, they're not even that bad. No, the thing is, I wasn't even wearing those panties. You know when you're a lazy college student who puts off doing laundry because you're stressed and depressed, and you end up doing cursed shit like reversing your used underwear so you can wear it another day? Or having to resort to wearing that raggedy panty in the back of your underwear drawer you wore 12 years ago with holes, loose threads, pilling, and discoloration, and at one point was probably even used as a cleaning rag by your mom or your grandma. Those were the panties I was wearing. And I know some of you guys are heavily judging me right now, but if you were like me back then with no reason to wear pretty panties because you have no bitches and no one but you would be seeing it because you have no bitches, then you wouldn't care about what you were wearing under your clothes either as long as it was clean, right? So yeah, I was wearing some Peppa Pig off-brand children's underwear that's honestly probably older than a majority of you guys watching this right now. After going through the 7 stages of grief, I came to the acceptance that there was just nothing I can do. It's my turn to get on stage, and at first everything goes okay. I'm walking down the runway, very awkwardly trying to make sure the slit of this dress isn't opening too much. I strike an awkward pose at the end, and then I do the big spin. And this is when everyone in the first few rows of the audience ends up seeing something they probably wish they could unsee. It was finally over. Psych, it wasn't over. I had to walk out again because guess what? Apparently all the models had to walk down twice. Once alone and once along with the designer. As a bonus for watching this far, here's a very blurry photo of me walking beside Barry, trying to hide my panties while walking. So yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing experience. And I feel like some of our mutual friends from college and maybe even Barry might be watching this video. So I just want to end off by saying that despite all my sarcasm in this video, I don't want to discredit Barry or make her out to seem like some kind of bad person for letting this happen. Because besides this incident, I've known her to be a very hardworking and passionate individual with her work when it mattered to her most. And honestly, I wasn't around enough to know what she might have been going through personally to not be able to pull through with the assignment. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that even though I went through something kind of humiliating, knowing that I might have been supporting a friend in need is the silver lining of it all. And all that really matters to me. So yeah, I flashed my raggedy panties on stage to a bunch of strangers. Thank you for watching.